story of the Ground Observer Corps of the Aircraft Warning Service. It may be a long story, or it may be a short one. That depends on how soon we lick 'em. We hope it'll be a short one. But if it's long, we'll be in it at the end, just as we were at the beginning. By the time we had started, late in 1941, the world had gotten a lot of packets of bad news from bombers, like this stuff here. They'd been getting it in Hong Kong, in Chongqing, in London, in Coventry, and Warsaw, mostly in cities or industrial districts, but with plenty of schoolhouses and churches thrown in. When we started, our towns were still all in one piece, and we weren't exactly at war yet, but we were getting madder and madder. Also, we figured that sooner or later, this might be the kind of a war you'd want to get in, considering the type of people who were on the wrong side. Some of us at the time were looking up, but all we saw were our own planes. At least we thought they were our own, but we could have been wrong as well as not, as we found out later. Some of us, a few thousand or not very many in a country of millions, decided to be sure, just in case. The Army began it pretty much like this, in the Board of Supervisors office. They found out that all you had to do was ask and you got it.
The various fighter commands of the Army Air Forces all over the country are sending out a call for thousands of civilian volunteers. We're forming the Ground Observer Corps of the Aircraft Warning Service. It's a matter for every patriotic citizen. Now, these ground observers will work directly with the Air Forces and will contribute greatly to the efficiency of the fighter commands. His job, or her job, will be to detect all aircraft flying within a designated area and then report to a filter center where the progress of the plane will be displayed and tracked.
Isn't this a little premature? We're not at war.
Not yet, and we certainly hope we won't be. But these men and women will be trained during maneuvers or war games. We intend to be prepared for whatever happens.
Well, Major, if the Army needs volunteers from this county, we'll see that it gets them.
Good. Now, here's the procedure. First, you appoint a district director, a man well known in your community, and one who has a certain amount of executive ability.
The asking went right on down the line, like in here. It was wonderful. The more you asked, the more you got.
Ed, you're president of the Kiwanis Club and past commander of the American Legion. You're well known and well liked in this community. In short, you're just the man the Army wants.
What?
Brother, you've got a new job, a full-time job without pay, as district director of the Army Air Force's Ground Observer Corps.
I'll take the job, if I can handle it.
You can handle it. First, you must select supervisors for each area in your district. Men that you can trust to organize the personnel of the observation posts.
All the observers couldn't be in the cities, so the district directors hit the road.
Hiya, Ed. What are you doing this far away from your store?
Getting people in the Army, Ray.
Wait a minute. How about starting from the beginning?
Okay. The beginning is that you're a supervisor in the Ground Observation Corps.
Huh?
And the first thing for you to do is to select a chief observer for each post.
Oh.
And after them, the area supervisors went right out into the tall corn, found all kinds of people willing to keep their heads up for their country.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Tucker.
Say, you're a stranger, Ray Harper. Come on in and sit down.
Thanks, I can't stay. I've got too many calls to make. Emma, the Ground Observer Corps of the Army Air Forces wants to use your house as an observation post.
Holy cats! You were gonna be in the Army, Mr. Harper?
You can if your mother says yes, Jimmy.
Oh, Ma, you ain't gonna keep us out of the Army, are you?
Not if I can help it. But what can we do?
Well, you can be chief observer, and Jimmy can be the assistant chief. You will phone a report on all planes flying over your farm.
Oh, boy, that's for me. I'll start right now.
You've got one good man already. Emma, you're quite far from your neighbors here, but maybe the nearest ones will volunteer as observers. We aren't in the war yet, but should we be, we want to be able to do our work and know how to do it.
We'll handle it, Ray.
That's what they all say around here. You know, this country is full of Americans.
Sure, the country was full of Americans. A good many of them by now had field glasses in their hands and permanent cricks in their necks. The Army was holding maneuvers, and they were looking up and writing in their logbooks and getting used to their jobs. It still seemed all in fun because in Washington were a pair of accomplished, undersized liars who were saying that everything was going to be just swell.
Gentlemen, you all know how difficult my mission is, but I'll do all I can to make it a successful one for the sake of two countries, Japan and the United States.
On December 7th, the bandits came in full force over Hawaii and left a whole bunch of early Christmas gifts they're going to get back with interest. A lot of us were stunned, of course, and horrified. But the best part about the Ground Observer Corps was that it had set itself to take a punch, so it didn't have to duck this one.
Hello. Yes, this is Randall. What? All right. All right, my district will be on the job in 5 minutes.
I'll be there in 5 minutes. The dirty yellow.
Yes, we know. We heard it on the radio. We're already activated.
None of us quite realized then how well this outfit was set up. But the fact is that a few hours after Pearl Harbor, the whole outskirts of America were filled with people waiting for some more of the samurai to come back and get their blocks knocked off. They were on tops of buildings downtown, and hanging to cliffs up in the mountains, and out on the desert where you had to climb a pole to plug in your telephone line. In the middle of factory districts where it was more than likely they'd come to drop their stuff. And in every other place you can imagine, high up, low down, noisy and quiet, easy and hard. They were a pretty varied bunch too, because patriots don't come all in one pattern. They came from the lifted pinky set that said Army flash with a broad A. Some of the ladies didn't have nurses, so they brought their babies along. And a lot of the guys who held those field glasses had calloused hands. Some of us were farmers who dropped a pitchfork to pick up a phone. And our wives were with us. We even had blind men who could hear plane motors better than the people who could see. And yes, even dogs. It was a sort of a motley outfit, just the kind you get from a free country. It was all for nothing, and they were glad to do it. And they meant business. It wasn't their fault that they didn't get a chance to show their stuff right away. They could have done it all right.